Welcome to Mr. Brown's Basement, a channel devoted to sharing the craft of repairing, restoring, and modifying vintage electronic gear, and other random stuff.
This is a follow-up to a video I did in 2022 on digital photography using the Apple QuickTake 200 camera. For more information on that camera, please click here. One thing I didn't talk about in that video was the process of transferring images from the QuickTake 200 onto a computer. That's because at the time I was lacking the hardware to do it. In this video, I'll share what I've learned about getting images off your QuickTake 200 camera, and at the end of this video, I'll share some unedited photos so you can see the quality you can expect from this camera. First, let me take you down the path I followed in trying to download images off an almost 30-year-old digital camera. My first inclination was to directly download the images from my QuickTake 200 to my computer using the QuickTake 200 software and the data cable. I already had in my collection at least a few computers that should be compatible. The software was available online, but I opted to buy an original Apple QuickTake 200 CD-ROM. That, of course, would require a CD-ROM reader, but that's okay, because I also have an Apple CD 300E Plus CD-ROM unit. I tried installing the software on my Macintosh 2 CI, but I was notified by the software that it requires at least a 68040 processor. Instead, I installed the software on both my Macintosh LC475 and my Performa 6118 CD, aka PowerMac 6100. I also needed a QuickTake 200 data cable. These are extremely scarce. I've been looking on eBay for such a cable since 2022 and haven't seen one come up for sale yet. After doing some research, I found instructions for a DYI cable, and I did exactly that. It involved connecting a mini DIN 8 plug to a 2.5mm male stereo plug. To my surprise, the cable didn't work. My wiring was correct, so I'm thinking that maybe the ground, ring, and tip of the 2.5mm stereo plug I ordered off eBay were not lining up with the socket on the QuickTake 200. Bummer. From what I remember about downloading images off the QuickTake 200 using a data cable, it was very slow, approaching 1 minute per high-resolution image. Reaching this first dead end led me to think about reading the camera's memory card directly. The memory cards are huge beasts called smart media cards. The ones I have hold a whopping 2 megabytes. No mistake, not 2 gigabytes, 2 megabytes. Which is 0.002 gigabytes. What I didn't know at the outset was that there are two kinds of smart media cards. The first smart media cards that used 5 volts and the later ones that used 3.3 volts. You can still buy new 3.3 volt smart media cards today, but not the 5 volt cards. Here comes the bad news. The vast majority of smart media card readers will only read 3.3 volt cards, and of course, QuickTake 200 uses 5 volt cards. I ordered a card reader off Amazon that the vendor insisted up and down would read 5 volt cards. He was wrong, and now he's got his card reader back. Another dead end. That leaves me only one more avenue. Doesn't the QuickTake 200 have a composite video output? And doesn't it have a slideshow mode which displays the photos on the memory card to the LCD display and video output? Yes, it does, to both. And aren't there relatively inexpensive video digitizers, that is less than $10 Canadian, that work on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS? So why don't I try one of these? I'll provide a link to the one I picked up on Amazon in the video description. I connected the camera up to the digitizer using a composite video cable. And plugged the digitizer into a USB 2.0 port on my computer. I opened the QuickTime player and chose New Movie Recording. I set the input to the digitizer and turned on the camera.
And set the camera to auto playback mode or slideshow mode, whatever you want to call it.
And guess what? Success! I could see an image on the computer screen. I was able to use the slideshow mode to have the camera display each picture for 5 seconds before going on to the next one automatically. In a matter of minutes, I had all the pictures captured in a video clip. The only disadvantage I can see is that I don't get image metadata with the pictures, like time, date, and exposure. The real advantage of this method is that I can download the images as fast as 5 seconds per image. The last minute of this video will be a bunch of photos I took with the QuickTake 200 in fine mode. I have inset the same shot taken with my iPhone 13, iPhone 13, so you can see the quality you can expect from this camera. My brother, coincidentally also named Mr. Brown, suggested that I drive to Teeswater, Ontario to take some pictures. I'm going to put the QuickTake 200 through its paces, take some pictures, and then go back to Mr. Brown's basement and then use a Macintosh to take them off and see how they look. The QuickTake lens is the equivalent of a 38mm mild wide-angle lens. The primary lens on my iPhone 13 is the equivalent of a 26mm wide-angle lens. That's why you'll see less scene coverage in the QuickTake's photos. The QuickTake is extremely limited in low-light situations and has no electronic flash like its older siblings. Besides being very grainy with only about 300,000 pixels, these pictures show a strong, warm cast, presumably to make flesh tones more attractive. It looks like the metering is just a plain averaging, given how photos with backlighted subjects are significantly underexposed. Highlights are blown out, showing the limited dynamic range of the sensor. This may be why Apple chose not to include an electronic flash, but for a consumer-grade product from the mid-1990s, this image quality was fairly typical. I hope you enjoyed this video from Mr. Brown's basement. Please like and subscribe, as it does help the channel. I also hope you will join me for the next video, which will be about something completely different. As always, thanks for watching.